So we got something very important that we've been waiting for, literally just handed to me, 15 pages. We've been waiting for this Massachusetts judge to let us know whether or not the federal government is essentially going to be forced to pay for SNAP benefits. We're just 10 hours and 10 minutes away from 42 million Americans losing this benefit. I want to bring in MSNBC senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin. Lisa, what did the judge say?
So the judge, Chris, is saying that the defendants are obligated to use the contingency funds that were identified by the state. But they also have another option available, that they can take money that comes off of funds. There are additional funds that also may be available that come from a different source. And so what she is saying is the plaintiffs have shown a likelihood of success on the merits, but they aren't necessarily at the stage that they have shown that they will be irreparably harmed, because they have identified two sources of funding that are enough to cover the shortfall here. And USDA can make a choice whether they take solely from the contingency fund, whether they take some from the other source of money. And she's basically saying they can opt to provide full funding of SNAP benefits from previously appropriated funds. That's why plaintiffs have not yet established their entitlement to a temporary restraining order. So she says the motion remains under advisement. She's not making a decision up or down yet. But by Monday, the defendants, meaning the Trump administration and specifically the USDA, has to advise her, and I'm now reading from the order, whether they will authorize at least reduced SNAP benefits for November, and if so, their timeline for determining whether to authorize only reduced SNAP benefits using the contingency funds, or whether they will authorize full SNAP benefits using both those contingency funds and additional available funds taken from, I believe, imports and the taxes on imports that come in.
So I'm reading, as you're reading, when I say we literally just got this, literally just got this. But then is it clear what happens between now and then? Because, again, at midnight tonight,
that's correct,
42 million Americans lose this benefit. And she's saying now, I need more information on Monday?
Not necessarily. She's saying you have to tell me on Monday how you're going to cover this. So you can either partially cover the shortfall for everyone using just contingency funds, or you can use the contingency funds and other available sources on Monday and meet the full SNAP benefits for everyone nationwide. And on Monday, or no later than Monday, you're going to tell me which of these two options you're going to take. I am giving you two routes out of this, but one or another of them is legally compelled, and that's why I'm not making a ruling on this right now, because by Monday, depending on what you decide to do, I may put my foot down and enter the order that plaintiffs have asked for.
All right, I'm going to read something to you, and I want you to put it in English.
Okay.
It is in English, but it's in legal English. Plaintiffs have demonstrated this is about the likelihood of success.
Right.
Plaintiffs have demonstrated a strong likelihood of success on the merits of their claim under an administrative procedure. She lays it out that defendants' suspension of SNAP benefits is contrary to law.
Right. Okay.
In other words, they can't do this under the law. Is that what this is saying?
That's essentially what it's saying. So when you apply for emergency relief, as the plaintiffs have here, one of the things you have to show is that you are likely to succeed when all the evidence is gathered, when you have a full-blown trial on the law, you are the one who's going to prevail. And you have to show that in the meantime, you would be irreparably harmed, such that it has to be that justice would demand an order be entered immediately. So where it comes to the likelihood of their success on the legal claim, she is saying the plaintiffs have shown the Trump administration is interpreting the law all wrong. They are, in fact, required to draw down from a particular contingency fund that Congress has already set aside. They must do that. Where the problem is where she's saying, look, there are two options, and so their refusal to draw down on the contingency fund isn't the only option available to them. By Monday, they have to tell me which of two doors they're going to take.
All right. Lisa Rubin, thank you. Really important information.